Hello. Is this testing? Yes. Okay, so this series is about, well, RPG Thoughts 1, I guess. So, I want to keep this simple, and it's like I've been going through game design. Normally I'm working with engines and prototypes and whatnot, and rarely do I get time to just delve into that. But I've been doing such, and it's just I've done it alone in a sense where it's like normally I think you're supposed to talk to people and you're supposed to just go back and forth, but I've just also realized that I had this other series before, and it just for whatever reason, I don't need a headphone. I guess I'll put that down for a second. I don't really. I had these videos and Baldur's Gate and the other games like that, and maybe Diablo, but it was kind of distracting. I could get the gameplay going, but then it really wasn't even about. I could show things, but then I had to find try other games. Got to the point where it wasn't about. I wasn't playing games. I was doing this research. I've already played a lot of games, and so for me, it was just kind of not really, a way to share, communicate things. I've also been looking around for game developers, what their thoughts were. Not many people do this type of stuff, so I thought. Also, I think I had problems with concepts where it was. I went into the maybe not the most nice side of things, with words, and I wasn't happy with it. I was correct with my words and how I put things together, but I realized I wasn't very friendly. And I could be correct, but then I could also kind of lose the point of things. So anyway, I had to kind of restart this. So if this is like RPG Thoughts 1. So I'm working with Godot or Rideau or whatever the community has, and MIT Forever Free, and making this MMORPG, and it's been a slog, and right now it's waiting for the C# and waiting for, I guess, Godot, because in order to have a really large, complicated project, it has to have a very solid foundation so you can organize people. And then if you don't have a solid foundation, because the engine changes, and you have to patch everything over again, and if you're using multiple things like voxels, and you're using networking, and you're using this, so right now you don't want the engine to change much. You want long-term stability for 4 or 5, 6 years, whatever, if you can. Stay without major things. So why I even get to this point is that I've played a lot of games, especially a lot of World of Warcraft vanilla, and rated, got the corrupted Ashbringer and Gressel, and set world records at the time. It was before privacy, stuff like that, and not that I want to set world, just that I want to be the best of the best. It was kind of, I want to be like the people who made the great rating things. They were the fires of heaven. They were EverQuest people who went, and basically people who made great games. They played them, and I remember some of the best memories I have are the rating, and I just I'm playing other games, and I got to a point where I had to decide, do I want to work on a game studio where they sell out money and people? Because I want to work for Blizzard, I want to work for other companies like that, but then I realized, they don't want to make games anymore. They want to make money. And I think it's complicated and long, but I'm trying to build up a reason why I'm into this. But what I really want to get into is I just spent like a week delving into the depths of Diablo 2. I normally am working on game engines and stuff, but I'm at the point now where I'm like, I have a little bit of break of time because I have to wait for Godot to unify the engine, with the C sharp and the webs getting together before 4.4 or 4.5 rather, and then that's being made, and then and it's like I can't do anything but let the professional people who are the best at that work on the web, work on this. And normally I'm right at it, breaking the engine, make it better, this and that. But I figured out there's a networking I can do with Mirage and the C sharp. It's basically from Unity, but I can work on Godot, and there's a version of it. And there's also voxels, C sharp, and put that together. It needs to have a stable engine, and then the engine wants to be put together with a GD script, and then unify. But then you have to see the web in there. You feature parity and all these things together. And it's finally all put together. Then I start working on these things. But I realized, okay, say if I have all the engine, everything, all that's great. It'd probably PS6 is coming in around 2027, I think it's estimated for, and the system on chip, whatever, and Xbox Next, whatever it's called. Then gaming handheld, whatever. That's all coming. Next generation is coming in for 2027. So we want the engine ready for. Anyway, so even if I got all this stuff ready, what am I gonna build? Because normally, like I have an idea of it, but there's some things where people were copying things, people were doing things. The game engine is kind of stagnant. If you look at the greatest games list on Wikipedia, it's like, I don't want to bring it up, I just don't get into that debacle thing where chasing articles and whatnot, worrying about what's on the screen and what's not. I just done with that. You get a purple screen, and that's basically that. So, you use your imagination, I guess. It's like a vlog, I guess, but it's just to keep it simple. You got to a point, it was like 1980s or 70s, or a continual list of good games. You got to like 2021 or 2 or something maybe, so it ended the streak. And it really shows like the indie companies coming about. So I kind of feel like I also worked with, I got a.k.a. MIT CC0 Vitruvian project now able to be shared and discoverable and itch.io and all that stuff. So things are coming where building up the creative community so they can build their own games, but it's hard, it's a slog to unify everything, to make sure that people have the tools. I remember working on World of Warcraft, and it was fun, it was great. But then I realized people don't want to make a good game who are in charge of this. They want to make money by the powers of be and human nature and the complexity of things. Basically there was a thing where it's like you can't make everything together as one person. That's the bet, that's the thing, that's the restriction. And I'm like, well, reasonably, yeah, but then unreasonably, you can make these things, but it's going to cost you everything. Diablo 2 developers, I think they lost their family and relationships and things like that. They got so burnt out, they never went back again. They realized, yeah, you're going to die. Like, money, you can't bring the money with you, so you might as well just go for it. But that's a difficult thing. I'm realizing too, it's like I'm sacrificing a lot for this. But that's why I go do these things. And I was doing a deep dive in Diablo 2 because it's kind of like this grandfather of many games. Look back to item system like Borderlands, oh, it's Diablo. World of Warcraft itemization, yep, that's Diablo, but different. Path of Exile, yep, that's Diablo. Diablo 3, yep, it's Diablo 2. Diablo 4, all these things, these games. You want to go a grand game, you have to kind of go down. You're gonna run into Diablo 2 again. It's very hard to beat Diablo 2's itemization. You can do a one-for-one copy and change things over, but that's kind of not getting at why it is. And also there's imprints of what these people did. What did they source their inspirations from? That was a bastard to find. I had to go through Elder Futhark and the history of languages of like 25,000 to 30,000, just looking what the depths of these things are, and then tracing old italic. I think also if I'm forced to have a purple screen, I have to use my imagination to remember how good my memory is. Because Elder Futhark, where'd that come from? I didn't even realize you could go on the Wikipedia and it's just old italic. I was tracing it back to my own research. It looks different. Yeah, Phoenician, and okay, this looks interesting. This is Vedian, Relic, or whatever. There's like a when you're Venice, it's like an old Etruscan or yeah, whatever. The North Peninsula around Rome, whatever. There's this, it lines up, and it's like this actually sister. Runic is a sister language to Italic or Latin or whatever. So it's basically like why it looks so interesting. It's and also came over through the mountains, got bastardized and this and that, and also 100 BC around or so, whatever, people started using it and this and that, and through the Bavaria, the high the Alps, whatever, and all that crap, and then what was the actual, like, because rune magic, right? Runes are cool. Why are they cool? Also, Ultima, uh, Underworld, like, I think it's Ultima, like, it's after 5 and 6, I think it's a spin-off. Ultima, it's basically like 1992, I think it was. CG Abyss. It has like these three runes together, and one of them is like Eth or Tyr or Ort. I think it's Ort is the one. There's commonality. These things they did their own like language, almost like Futhark or Alpha. But it's like Ultima did its own like spin on the things. So it's like I think I was looking at that, and also I just tonight realized that like Ultima. No, Ultima. I guess that too, but the whole a lot of things in Diablo 2 were just taken from other games. Like, it's just stripping it down. It's hard to find an original idea in Diablo 2, because skill trees, civilization, rune words. That's in part from Ultima. What's unique about it is the combination of all these things together. I think that's also why the developers are very sketchy. They're kind of cowards. They don't want to say where they get their inspiration directly from. I've been seeing that a lot. I've seen like, David Brevik and Matt. I was kind of disappointed in Max Schaefer. Just seems so underwhelming, and like he likes battle royales. What the fuck? I mean, pardon my language. Just like people who seem to got lucky, and just like they did work in this and that, but it's like they just. I think David Brevik, and also like he got burnt out. Then it was Peter Brevik. I didn't realize he was there. He's like his brother, and he worked on the design of the expansion of the thing. There's also runes in the expansion of Diablo and Hellfire. But I think the rune system, I think Peter Brevik played it, whoever it was, that shit was like you put three runes together on like a little stone thing, little squares, and you make rune words, and they cast a spell, and it's like Ultima. It's just Ultima, Underworld. Like it's the idea is there. Also the gem system, the socket system that comes from. Well, you can argue that, like what the hell was that? Alter Aeon or something, 1996. But you get to insert the fucking what was that hell? I can't even, I just watched it and I can't remember. So it's so memorable. I can't remember. It was like lapis lazuli. You could insert the gem, but basically you put like the sockets. It was like you put the wood on the handle, you put the handle on the thing. So it basically very like piece by piece to happen to have inlay the gem, and that's that was technically be everything else. But Final Fantasy VII, I didn't really play it much, but it was like that one definitely. The runes, the socket system, the gems has the same color of gems. Purple, red, blue, yellow, green. There's also in the lore. There's like you see there's like a white one. But you don't really see it. Those the items like sword armor. You have like sockets up to 8, and also you can put them in. They have stats, and they have 5 levels. And they also go like Master Diablo 2 1.0 or whatever. Like you max out your resistance. It's like max, but like then it was like Master or whatever. But it goes over. You can whatever. And Final Fantasy 7 it goes over, makes it whatever. Anyway, so it's basically there's 5 levels of quality for each of the things, and also there was body parts. I was trying to find where the skulls came from, but it seems there's body parts that were like protecting. So I'm guessing it was from there, and the diamond was kind of maybe just added in as a gem, I guess. Thing innovation, like some things in Futhark were innovations because I guess they're innovate. I don't anyway, but the runes didn't match up. It's like there's 10 or something runes off of like Elder Futhark that didn't match up with the Venetian, Venetian, and Relic, whatever, Etruscan, like old Latin, old Italic things. Mostly like 2 or 3 did, but it was a little bit than over. But could have been leftover things I didn't quite use. But it was for fun. It's like I was finding all these things where I just find the bottom of one thing. Almost like there's this guy. What the hell is his name? Everyone hates him online. Who's a liberal. Everyone likes him. Who's a conservative. Even before the whole conservative thing, I watched a bit. I don't know that he's good, but in parts, what's his name? Brain's trolling me now. It's it's from Canada. Get kicked out of college for saying wild stuff. Young men, older guy. I can't remember. He got he likes talk about a mental landscape. What's it called? The like psychological landscape. Whatever. There's a certain type of thing. I'll remember his name later on. 3 in the morning. Jump to the. Oh, it's almost 3 in the morning now. But I want to say preacher. It's not Teal. It's picture his face. The blue and the red coat, and he's just I don't know. He's kind of giving up a liberal thing. I can't remember his and whatever. He had this thing where he, being a nerd with psychology, and he did this thing where he explore the depths into the Cain and Abel, whatnot, and where stories come from. I kept to do it with Diablo too, and it was like the rune system was just like basically rune magic from Ultima Underworld. Someone played that, and then the whole socket system. With help with AI or something, let's figure out. And I'll read it, whatever. Figuring out where the people were saying things. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, basically, because you have basically the same colors, same amount of things almost. 5 levels. Socket them in, and sometimes, and also with runes, you can sometimes get a. I think later on, like Dave, I think it was burnt out after a death march for a year. He's saying, and then his brother, I guess, Peter. I guess he played Ultima on it or something. Like they can also. There's also a stealth. Like there was rune magic, rune words where like one of them was like literally just stealth. One of them was like you put the 3 runes together and make a word, an ability. So I mean like there's certain things. Also there's Eth rune, there's Ort rune. There's like almost like a Rel or Ril. It's basically there's very similar things to it. That it just seems, but yeah, it comes from there. And of all the different sort of candidates, yeah, and like the abilities on the runes or the thing, like Final Fantasy. It's like you can see. Oh yeah, also Path of Exile. You can maybe get inspiration from that. Yeah, because you put this thing in there as ability. People said, what the hell was a Fire Emblem Dragon Quarter, but it was like it's 2002 released. It was Diablo was from like 2001. It's not a year, I think it'd be the other way around. But Final Fantasy 1997 in January whatever, released. That predates the thing, and also it was a widely loved game, so we probably played at that time, developers, and yeah. And like I can see why they don't want to say, "Oh, we copied from this, can make it in trouble." But I mean, like it's just whatever. Mithrils, like a Tolkien thing, has just been undefended. Whatever. So it's just I don't know. I can see why they wouldn't do it, but it's kind of also at the same time. It's like they did other things. I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess system. Also, Dungeons and Dragons big inspiration. I see a lot of Dungeons and Dragons with basic Baldur's Gate and all the depths of that. But I was kind of blind in areas and didn't quite. I wanted to. I got like the scoop of Diablo 2, but I wanted to figure out like what was more into it, because like also Angband was where the colored items and also the kind of the hoggledy of the rarity was, because like they had because Brave Brevik played the shit out of that. I also played the shit out of Ultima 4, Quest the Avatar or whatever. and like favorite games. Like looking at the actual things that was an open world thing, one of the first big open world ones. I guess it was you know, rated Zelda a little bit, but like, it was basically big, and then you could have a party, and then class and characters, and also there's like kind of runes, and that was kind of different. Like how Diablo 1 kind of ruined, but anyway, it was Stygian Abyss. You know, at the end was the dungeon on that one at the very end, and it was kind of like, yeah, you get to level and this and that, and Angband was, say a lot of play that was like a big influence. Dungeons and Dragons with like just heavy campaigns, the Schaefer's, I think, a little bit too. Brevik, the my brain's trying to think here. The it's like getting tired. Loot heavy, Dungeons and Dragons, Ultima. Oh, so yeah, Stygian Abyss was like a dark gothic. It's the draw distance was very low. Also, you can see on Ultima 4, you go through a forest, and it's like dark and line of sight and all that jazz. Gold Box series, kind of you can see that we took direct inspiration from Ultima 4. Basically, there's some ancestry in the Ultima and the Gold Box, kind of the certain things they'd use in Diablo. Leaving turn base, for example, and this and that, and how the enemies attacked, and also the enemies were. And they didn't want to do Angband. That's the one I was getting to. Angband has 100 levels to it. It's only 101 because you go to the 100 and bottom of the 100, and you go to the top. It's technically you're kind of 100 or not. 100 playable levels at least, plus the town, I guess. And so that had like text graphics or color graphics, and then the artifacts could be, I think they're whatever. You got these really good items, and like a lot of them were like brown, kind of gold, I guess, text, and then some were like yellow later on, and then some were like I think different colors, like maybe blue, whatever. You can see the DNA though. That was like the expectation, how things flew with Angband, and levels, and the monsters were in there. And also Angband comes from Moria, and that comes from, well, Moria is interesting because that's the old game from Rogue. That was procedural generation dungeon stuff, and it was like dark, and you really had to looking on the Apple II on these things, like download all these videos, like lots of hours of videos, like the speed run or the big just playthrough, and just whatever, seeing how these things play. I don't want to spend like 40 hours playing a game. It's super slow and clunky. I just want to understand, I can see these things. Like going through the menu, the system is more insightful, guessing all these things. And so I can say with EverQuest, I played that a little bit. EverQuest, Project 99, it's just really clunky and slow. I read the systems though. Like the Matrix, I was going through the text I write, and also did the map, whatever, on the website. So it's like we're probably just studying things, and seeing how they all put together and whatnot. And some things you say, you want to, if not really enjoying it, it's like, well, I don't really want to play it. So, I understand what the things are for, but I just don't find it fun to play. Project 99, it's so clunky. It's fun to play at the time, but not now. There's so much. So World of Warcraft was better. Anyway, so getting back, tracing the lineage, whatever, lineage of Diablo 2, all the different sources that people are not talking about. There's like fucking being cowards and whatever for whatever reason. I can see it. Just say Final Fantasy. I mean, older. I don't look. They're tired and stuff, but they got paid to do that shit. I don't understand this and that, but it's like trying to do all that stuff so I can put it into a MIT thing. So basically, I can share it with the world, and then you don't have to worry about this stupid company, because it's the same problems. They're the same companies, same company BS I had to face, and they got overdone with and never recovered from. And they never wanted to edge or whatever that push the boundaries. Safe and comfortable, and that was kind of the end of that. They come from an easier time, the golden age, literally the peak of the golden age in North America too. So it was like, yeah, it was like maybe their entry, very lucky too, a lot of happenstance, lucky stuff. But I mean, that's what it took to happen. Like, I don't know. And also the richest place in the richest country, and it's just all these things came together. But it's not like trying to make a local Rome, I guess, because when Rome fell apart, I'm trying to make local Romes, and I'm trying to make this better. I guess that was like the Carolingian Empire, the Charlemagne and the boys, and put it back better. Anyway, so it's like trying to do this again, where with the MMO stuff, I have 8K graphics that are thing, and I have the voxels and smooth voxels, and there's like the Moon Beast game that was and the Eric Schaefer's on, and it's like it's voxels, but it's top down like cowards, and then it's like, you know, you have graphics now, and it's like you can do smooth voxels. They're like basically you have the complexity of not smooth voxels with the problems of cubulator world of it's just you pick a lane, goddammit. I was afraid of this. Just stop being fucking afraid. Just do something, whatever. But film the graphics and it's just fuck, you know. It's like these people. How you get anything done? I understand the framing is good, but it's like you gotta realize, yeah, just because you're old doesn't mean you don't get to sacrifice things. You know, people are dying in Ukraine and over in maybe India soon, and definitely over in the Middle East. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You know, it's just like cowardly people. I don't know. It's like they want to make these games. They're all stressed out, but it's like you're not dying in a trench. You're not. I don't know what the fuck these people are. They're spoiled. I don't know how to describe it. They're just like a bitch made, but they're not at the same time. It's very strange. It's like I don't belong with these people where they complain. They want money. They want things, but then they sold out their integrity. Why can't I make a good game? It's like, well, fucking obvious. You wanted money before you wanted your soul. And it's just the best people work with people. You can't pay them. You literally just can't. They're like, you're just like, I like doing this, and you can't. They're great people. I don't know, legends. It's just there's this thing where I'm trying to get this developing all this stuff together, and like I'm just in the depths of like Angman 100 levels, procedure generation, the monsters, you always die, rogue like this and that, but that was based off this game called Moria, which was expansion of that with the token themes. But then that in 1975 there was a game that was based off, what the hell was it, like the pet or something? It had like the vector or some shit. But that had Moria was basically like an RPG there, basically like Dungeons and Dragons, so D&D. And to the studying the DNA of it, like the monster list and this and that. And there's literally a story, like the whole plot of Diablo 1, where you go down to these procedural generated Doom crypt things, like they're cave level things, and you fight a big fire monster demon thing, and you win. There's a town, Angman's like that. You literally go down to fight Morgoth, which is from Moria, which was the Balrog, which in what the hell are you fighting, Rogue? It was like a monster or some shit. I can't remember what. Anyway, there's a game called Castle of the Winds. Basically, there's like a lot of things that you could also say that Diablo 1 was inspired by Castle of the Winds. Almost same inventory. You don't have pants. You like Dungeons & Dragons doesn't have like pants either. But there's things that you can see in it. And like again, you go down. You're in this town. The guy identifies things for you, and you sell things and you buy as a potion stores. Your house burnt down. You gotta fight the thing into the cave in the north. Follow the road on the set map. You go down. The first level is set. And if you fight all these monsters in a procedural thing, it's always a bit different. And you go down. You adventure and you go down and you fight a fire giant monster thing. It's Norse mythology, but it still doesn't. It's the same kind of feel. See, even the story is like not even the same. It's not even like go gothic this and that, but it's like you mix, like if you do like a generic version of all these things where it's like you have Nordic and you have like Tolkien and then you have Dungeons and Dragons. You mix all that shit together and you're like, I like gothic, and the guy's like, oh, I lived at Mount Diablo, whatever. And it's like these things where it's just you see it and you're like, oh, okay, but no one says this shit. No one's like fucking, and it's like, oh, we're just head of a Hydra. We had like 5 different people think, but you really didn't. You can take away Max Schaefer and he just fucking, it would still be maybe, I don't know, it's most of the same. You could take away Eric Schaefer, it'd be kind of fucked, but you're still, there's David Brevik, take David Brevik away, and you still, most of it's gone, but then you still have some things, which are not. It's like, what the fuck, why didn't anybody like, I was collaborative and this and that, and like silly like Peter Pan time. It felt like people didn't understand what the hell's going on. And they didn't fucking do anything with networking or multiplayer. Like, oh, there's the Wizards down at Blizzard South, and it's just these fucking luckers. I don't know how to describe it. Networking is so goddamn hard to do, and it's just It's so important. There, the game would not be as viable if it didn't have networking. And it's just these. It feels like these goofs or something. We're just like doing it. Cause I have to do everything myself. You know, like it's basically the bet was you can't do everything yourself. You can't make World of Warcraft yourself. You can't do these things yourself. You can't make with nobody. Like fuck you guys. I can. You know, it's just skills. You just go a school, for example, doesn't have a monopoly on knowledge because you can take a school away and you'll still have knowledge. But if you take knowledge away, you won't have a school. Same, it doesn't matter where these skills things come from. You know, I had to basically learn these things, and there's no school for, there's no class, there's no like post-secondary like, veteran experience. The experience you do get, it's the whole corporate culture is starting to buckle in on itself. It's kind of like the old Rome with the grain dough being corrupt, or it's being where you Egypt or whatever you want, or the the Germans, they couldn't have proper production in World War II, and or the America with its debt and inflation, too much greed, and people not, the bankers can't stop making, just can't help themselves. It's just these certain things you bottom out at, right? Like Shanghai, for example, would be all cool, and then they'd invent sunglasses, and then things would just get a bit too crazy, and then it'd be, you'd have to redo it, and it was just like, things come in cycles, and it's like they were kind of on the end of one here, where it might be the bad old days coming back again, and like, oh god, problems in North America, oh my god, who does, it's like, mate, you don't live in a bubble. If you read human history, it's more, you were lucky, people. So it's like I feel like a caveman or something, like resurrected from like the fucking like 200,000 years ago or something. It just doesn't. I don't know. These people are fair weather people. It's weird because people play these like hardcore game things and they're like, oh, but then they bitch about this. It's like, oh my god, I don't understand. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's why nobody was around back then. Like, no one signed up for that shit. It was like no people were alive 200,000 years ago, whatever. It was just like, maybe that was the reason for, I don't know. Just, I don't know what the deal is. But, anyway, I see what we've done, and you see why I don't do a lot of videos, because it's just like, I stream because I get too goddamn mad at things. I like people a lot, but I have my patience thing where I don't like people suffering, right? Don't get me going on steel and whatnot. That's just in video game or manufacturing. So I've been doing a lot of research with Diablo 2, Diablo 1, and also Baldur's, all these inspiration, all these sources. And I'm really working on rune magic. I'm like, well, shit, it's like we have ABCs. Basically, like, Futhark is just like a clunky version of ABCs. But the languages, blah, 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 right? But those go back to, there's what do they call it? The substrate of, like, the words that come out of Germanic basically around Hamburg, South, around Denmark, around there. Ice Age, potentially even Ice Age, what do they call that? Holdouts, refugia, little places where it potentially could be where they normally couldn't. And there's a weird spot in, like, around Finland with the Sami people or Samoy, whatever, where there's words that are potentially, like, that could have come from before the Ice Age, like 25,000, 30,000 years, just because I don't know where they're from. So it's like there's these things that, like, old words, like ash tree also turns out to be a super old word. They don't know where it comes from, and that turns out to be one of the things that could be weather resistant. And that way you kind of need, so it could be like a window into a very, very long time ago. Like, the rune magic evokes this thing of, like, oh, the old times, the Norse and the cold people and the frost giants and what the mystery, right? And it's like, where does that come from? It's like, well, okay, we go up to Sweden. And you're like, okay, we're in Stockholm. Where's this old? Oh, we didn't know how to read back in the 1,000 years ago. Okay, well, 3,000 years ago. Okay, well, we were saying, oh, we're learning this, like, Germanic language, like, where that come around Hamburg, kind of where that come from, like, around India or something. I was like, well, not really, because there's older words. It's like, well, and it's like, okay, well, what about people up in Finland? They're around, and maybe they're older. And it's like, okay, yeah, okay, Finland, where'd you come from? Or your old mountains. It's like, well, what about these other words that are like really, really old? And they're like, I don't know. It could be 20,000, 30,000 years old. We just don't know. They're so old. There's place names. Like, oh my god, you guys, they just. So it's like old times, and this rune magic was like these little coins coming from Roman times, be all up in like Germany time, and like you'd be like making these amulet stuff, and kind of inspired, but little like little 3-letter rune words. Basically, you have it was like this like it was like aloe or something. It might be ale, but it also means like could be like an actual thing. Basically, like similar thing to alt, whatever. It's like it was like a rune word of like protection or things getting better. Is like where you like the you evoke tear, for example, a bunch of tear times, be like God or victory time or something, and just like or people having fun with the letters, and it'd just be like or maybe like make things look better because you have like the Celtic scrolling, whatever this and that, and that kind of influence, and trading around, and it was cool. And Ulfbert on the sword, names were popular, but like also you had the rune stones, and it was like, but the runic mat is a thing where you put the letters together or you make words, and there's certain things where the combinations there's like little medallion things, I don't know what they're called, but they have like these little it's not just words but like actual like little things, rune mats. I'm like, okay, oh my god, I gotta work this stupid rune words are a problem. Diablo 2 because they're good for basically Diablo 2 was a crash and it was having like a problem in 2000. Like Peter Who was like holding the ship together. It's like basically everyone quit because of the bullshit and be like wah, and they couldn't they actually figure out make their own game, and then they like fucking made retarded games after, like, cause, I don't know. But Peter Who like wanted to keep it together and like made this basic like Diablo 2 expansion kind of almost with like patch 10, but it was like Enigma and shit, and basically it's done, right? And they couldn't really patch it, and it was basically Enigma was solve a problem that was like if you had a proper game you wouldn't have one. It was like you had to teleport everywhere. It's kind of dumb, but it's like it's like it is. It makes it's like oh you just get rid of that. It's like well, what if you could have people who have there's no mounts either. There's no like fuck. So basically, there's kind of, the camera angle's kind of shitty, and it's kind of it starts getting away on itself. It's for a little pocket what it is. Because you take 1080p graphics and Resurrected, you make them basically 4K and get away with it because there's little things you can optimize for, right? Learned that around. They had this database thing that blew up right before launch, and we lost all the assets stuff because there's no database stuff. That's why you have hard drives that aren't SSD. You can or SSD whatever. You can have good cold storage. It's good to have a 300 like 600 or the 22 terabyte. They just need storage. I'm trying to think of all these things that are important. So much stuff to consider at once. Um, so so it's like I'm putting all these things together because most people don't do that. They don't put all these things together, and because you have to put everything on the table, and then you look at it and go, then you optimize it, right? You just dump it down there, you organize it a bit, go, So a lot of things are rewritten. Put them, these are good features. How do you optimize it? You do a rewrite. That's stupid. Yeah. So, you do that, and then anyway, the oh man, I'm trying to think of these things. I'm trying to get to a point together here, slogging through it. So there's certain things I'm delving into with Diablo 2 that just taking it on. It's like the depths of these things. It's like there's like 4 or 5 different people, maybe 2 or 3, that like maybe 1 or 2, but that really did the itemization of these things. And like Resurrected was a foreign studio that wasn't Blizzard, and then they did the actual like conservative version of doing just redo the assets, the art, and then the shitty server stuff was Blizzard. So the crappiest part was Blizzard. So basically, they're kind of done. They made it a thing, but it's like to go beyond that, you have to take some. You just really understand that. People just don't. They just kind of go like silly time. They're like a cow or something that eats like the food and goes moo and like does the simple thing and doesn't like try to be like the wolf or the bear and actually like try to like be a thing that isn't stupid. I don't know how to describe it. People are like duh, and I think that's okay. It's not okay. Like I got this big philosophical debate that they're really harsh about it and took it down, but like it's still there. I just didn't want to share it. Didn't want people to do with the people's. I don't want to babysit people. I just don't like doing that. Especially how to think. I just not. It's like I want things to be good, but then I realize the cost of that. Maybe the complexity gets high, but this thing where there's parts like Diablo 2 systems that you can find. There's a GD script with Godot, this guy with from Ukraine. It's very good at that, but I have to make it into networking, and then servers, and then like C sharp's written in, so it's like good with that. So good compatibility, because nothing is written in GDScript. Like there's Unity is like all these different like billions of dollars pumped into C sharp, or people who can at least do C sharp. And so, Unity is also Unreal. There's other things like that. So basically, C sharp is much better than GDScript, and it's just like. And once you get all these also the systems too, the prototype, you have basically, it's like, you could add lots of affixes and stuff. Basically, the suffixes and affixes, like things in the front, things in the back, like, like the mighty blade of the bear, right? But you can add like 3 of them, so you like super duper mighty colossal Zweihander of the super duper bear, right? You could do something like that if you. It kind of dumb, but that's the example of like 3 affixes in the front, 3 in the back, and a base. And you upgrade the base to enchant. There's things you can do for depth, like enchantments, inscribing, runes, gem. The rune thing really starting to dive into, because I wasn't really much a fan of it, because like you add the runes, there's this ziggly-piggly bunch of runes that don't make any sense. And you go into the Wikipedia, and it's like. There's not 30, there's like 60 or 80 different actual individual runes, and it's like, and they just add this random ass shit, and then they didn't really support it, and started blowing apart, and it's just like this, and they didn't have, the rune words made the uniques, like, shittier, and it didn't have a special, like, color to them, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be the same, it's just stupid, and like, some of them are really shitty in the beginning, and then it's like, some are even, now they're all better, you just have rolling around things, and Diablo does the stupid things, you basically have like 100, 1 to 300, and it's like you have to do 5 different rolls, and it's like GG, and it's like there's no way to improve those stats after you just gotta roll lucky, and it's like stupid. There's interesting things though in the depths of Diablo 2 with that Rubik's cube or layers like of a cake. Instead of just having one monolithic item that has maybe like one little thing like World of Warcraft does, you have basically, it's almost like a composite item where it's like it has to roll on its little like slices, and then it like puts together, and this can make things very deep, very cryptic, very like going into the abyss. Because like there's even the I think there's the classic, the relaunch of Burning Crusade had these like glitches where they had like, a little tiny little bit of Diablo where it's like the green crossbow would like 47 or dexterity or agility on that. It's supposed to have like 7 or something. It was like basically since it had like one little thing it could potentially rule, it glitched out or something. It was like it had 0, but whatever. It was basically like this thing where you can have this chaos unintended result. One thing is fused uniques, and some of the duping this and that, because basically there's expectation that items supposed to operate a certain way, but there's certain things people like smacked in there through closed. Also Cooley and Llama, all these people looking at the actual history of that, and on YouTube, people who really lurked in the depths with like what David Brevik did in the Angband and shit like that before fucking pieced out after the Death March, and then or the Death, basically like Llama and Cooley in the dungeon love that shit, and like there's fuse uniques where with Ball it was like the idea was maybe it launched kind of hokey pokey, and you can only have like 2 I think uniques that could drop at one time, but you have up for 6 spaces, and then but the math basically you'd roll, say you roll 3 of them, but you only have 2, so you roll like slot, you get like the I don't know Tyrael's Might. Templar's Might, okay. And then you get like I don't know Oculus, and then you'd roll Stone of Jordan or something, and then but on the third, but then you only have 2, so then like the second one would be like Oculus plus the ring slot of the you get these fuse where you have like the stats of 1, and then you'd like have the ooh of like the different slot. So basically, this thing came out of the ether. Basically, this kind of this like corrupted thing, kind of, I guess. That's where it kind of came from. Maybe I don't know, but then it's really rare. It's like a super rare item where it's like, holy shit, this thing is like a beyond, uh, a unique. It's basically a legendary item in a sense because it was so rare. Your servers duping them, whatever, right? But then people like hack and then they try to like emulate that. You kind of like, oh man, and then they like try to sneak one over and then basically develop. Oh, I guess that makes sense, and it doesn't really. And then there's things like they were like hacked items that people would like since so hokey pokey like with the open battle net and the closed battle net. Sometimes it kind of like went in there and it was like early days like the white gloves and the whatever, and there's some other ones like the things since it's a hokey pokey, everything was like kind of like a slinky put together or different layers of cake. Sometimes it was a little bit it had a little bit of funk in there, and that's kind of neat. That's really cool. That's kind of like what Futhark and all these things like familiar uh strange familiar things, right? This like familiar new novelty, whatever, right? And it was like one of the concepts of Blizzard, whatever Diablo 2 or other games came from. It was like this thing where it's like, and also there's this mystery aspect to it, where it's like it's in the depths, it's like and it's like something that's organically happens and wasn't planned for. And rune words were kind of like I understand, it's like they kind of made their own problems where like you couldn't like it'd be good if you have items and you say you roll them. Oh, this thing sucks ass a little bit, right? I did she roll if you add like expensive ways to upgrade your sabatons or elder whatever the hell it was set whatever little or unique little stats and make it better instead of like, oh, I just throw this one away. It's like, no, the items should be valuable. Path of Exile has a problem with this, where you get end games, items everywhere. What the hell? This is not even close. It's like basically like gambling addiction or something. It's like it just devalues everything. You're basically just trying to get these GG like perfect rolls. And it's like, what the hell are we even doing here? We're just obliterating the screen. It's like, no, things in real life, like, yeah, it's hard to make. And it was like, little like rolls and shit were all put into like the, could you get the thing? Could you get the quality? Did you fuck up on the thing? Basically, you can do a lot of that without having the whole screen blow up and all this retarded stuff like that. It's just you can have, maybe the altered thing, whatever it's called, with the old school like Dungeons and Dragons crafting. You had to get the hilt, and you had to get the sword, and you had to get this, and put them on. These little things you can intricately do without having just like a billion bows. Or World of Warcraft had a problem with this too, or especially with RuneScape, where you just like craft like a billion bows. Why are we fletching arrows? Oh, because I have to. And get carpal tunnel. It's just stupid. It's like you don't. Like, real life is not like that. You don't just you can, but not really. You'd be like, and you just do it better. So it's just lazy anyway. What else what do you just think about? So anyway, so with I see what people want, but there's ways you can ground it in reality where it's not just only exclusive to games logic. And it's like, what are we doing here? A lot of Asian RPGs have this problem where it only exists in the game. So the guy's swinging this like sword. It's like 5 stories tall, and it's just like the guy has the most like limp ass wrist ever. Yeah, this is just some person who like gets the shit kicked out of them in school. They like make a game, and they're like, wow, I get to be that. Like, no, you don't. You're a loser. This is a loser's game. And only losers like it because they don't know how to win. And it's sad to say, but it happens. That's why people who make winners who make games are like, this is how you win, guys. And people who are losers, they're like, you don't be losers anymore, and then they turn losers into winners, and that's leadership. that's that's you just know it's rocking, right? Then people are like, I'm not a loser anymore, and then they become a winner, and then they have their own life, they get their own things. It's like that's rating's all about. Really, you have opportunities. Big dragon, they go get him. I don't know, we're gonna do it, and take him off the street. And they go, oh shit, we did it. And they're no longer doubting anymore because they gave up their inhibitions and fears and they quick ass, and they're never the same again. That's what MMOs do. A massive world. You're like basically like the character's not the center of the universe, but just a piece in it. The world is the main, is the character. So that's Tolkien did that world building. I guess I also with the Age of Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, whatever. Does a little bit pretty good. So it's like yeah, just all these thoughts and like the depths of these things. It's like my brain's going like overflowing with these things. Almost 3 in the morning. But yeah, it's just like really trying to. I guess I have to kind of share it somehow. Go nuts, but like the yeah, like I'm still trying to figure out how you because the rune words. It's like you put like 2 letters together, and it's like 2 runes. It's literally just be ABCs. That's basically like A plus A equals. It's like there's things like that. If you like lull, for example, it's like, or there's like, I guess like bed literally makes a bed, if you spell it out. And there's like things that exist already in as initials, I guess, too, kind of abbreviations. But like these things you take it for granted. But like there's actually a legit rune magic thing in these words. But it's like there's just I'm trying to really hone in on that because I'm like I thought it was kind of stupid because like the not the system, but I think the system is okay. Like having basically a thing you sock into something, and then basically like I guess it'd be like gem sets. I guess you could say. Um, Runes are kind of like that because like you have like letters and you're like da, 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 like Ulfbert, for example. Like what that means a place. Oh, if you put like the words strength into something, right? Like you inscribe it. It doesn't have to be like sockets. You basically, I guess the combination of letters. I guess it'd be the idea. I guess you know. Like I guess people who are illiterate, stupid as hell, like I'll just put some. I guess that works back in there. It's kind of rune magic, I guess. People don't know what the hell is looking at. That makes sense. But we literally have like, the most complicated shit ever for or like spelling and whatnot. And it's like we just take. Oh yeah, we're literate. I guess if you're an illiterate bastard up in the north being like dumb as hell, you'd like think that's magic. It kind of was. It was magic. You could look at stuff, read it in your brain, and you would have power over people. Logistics. It was really the ability like in Samaria to like who do I owe copper to? It's like, or stones, or the hell it was, a grain or something, right? And it was a big thing. And priests and whatnot, right? So it had type of magic, I guess you could say, right? But also there's this fantasy thing where it's like, well, how do you get like more strength? And you look at this cool ass like rune blade, and you're like, wow, shit, it was cool ass inscriptions and stuff. Like, what does it mean? Well, it says, like Big Thor, Thunder Time or some Thunder Hammer or some crap. It evokes something of like the imagination. I think maybe and also you look at the rune words and like they go like a bunch of syllables. Maybe the language also too. Like when you cast a spell, it sounds really cool in Latin. So you could be like Mal Incanto Ignis or something, right? You basically have these words, and you like, and also every letter of certain things too of runes has this little special thing where it's like, there's like the F, and there was like, there's what they meant something like ash or tree or oak or like river or some crap like that. It meant these little things. I don't know if it was meant as like cool magic time for like a video game, but it was like it's neat how like it's different. It's the A and the B and the W, the Y. It was like ZZ. It was like there's something a little bit more to it, but maybe it was just kind of not. I don't know. It was like neat, almost like hieroglyphs a little bit in terms of I don't know, but like it makes you think of the inscription. I think one's like, well, the longer the inscription, I think it was Overlord or some shit. It's like the more powerful it is, whatever. I think it was Overlord. It was like the thing. It was like the more runes they had, whatever. It kind of gets over so you could write. What I've kind of done is just have enchants upon enchants upon enchants. Well, I only got 10 rings, and they're all plus 10. And they have no cost to them. Magical power. Why the hell wouldn't people have a woven thing of chainmail full of like +1 rings? If there's no drawback to it, if there's no cost to it. You don't have like a computer. 100 chips and they have a billion RAM and it costs no power. It doesn't work like that. It's like if it was electricity in a sense, it has to have, well, it's going to come from somewhere. So if you have magical items like words of power source, the ley lines, no, that's like it's like, get real. It's like, if one thing it's like I did too is when you wear, like, say, heavy armor out in the woods, or sing songs or something, right? Where it's like you don't wear the heaviest shit, most protection stuff ever, because it takes away your potential to regenerate your stamina, your resources you have to use throughout the day. So you have just enough to do what you need to, but then also keep your regeneration together. Because I think that too, if you have heavy armor, it makes sense. It's like, yeah, you could do it for a while, but then you're gonna be gassed, and if you're a horseback, it's not that bad. But if you're gonna be, so if you're casting spell, rock and roll, singing a song, whatever, you're rocking out, it takes a lot of energy and stamina to you. If I was like casting a spell, but kind of real life, it's like, well, we don't wear like burkas and this like big coats, they're like almost down to nothing, and because there's sweat and this and that, and it's hard. So it's like, if that was kind of, cast was very, I mean, that makes sense. If you're a wizard, if you're basically like, super hard on you, to like it costs a lot to do things. You'd not wear a lot of armor if you had to. Some things, also conductivity of things like gold and electricity, but with certain metals, they're rare. It's like little exceptions you have the battle, but most, yeah, it makes sense for by the forces of not people. Oh, I'm a wizard, blah blah blah. No, you like get punched in the face over and over again, and then like you realize I don't want to lose. And then you start thinking like how everything else was done in life. Like, it doesn't matter what the culture was. They didn't want to lose. They started thinking, how do I do it the most without having things suck ass completely? And then everyone's, oh yeah, this is how you win, right? Okay, I have to efficiently do this and that, and you remember. So then at the point, you don't even have to think. You just do things, and you find out what works, and you do that, and all cultures coming from that. And it's like they tell people how to do this, and all of a sudden, yeah, it looks crazy, right? And then it's human evolution right there. So it's, yeah, so it's like I think with rune words, whatever magic system is, invoking these things, it's nice to have flavors of things. Like the dwarf expectation. Okay, he's got the hammer, some runes on there, and the light up, and it's like it hits it, and it's like crazy fire time. It's cool. It's like, that's neat. But it's like, how do we make it so it doesn't suck ass? Like why would the dwarf, if it was real life, like why the fuck would he put the runes on there? Like, like why would he go through? What does that even mean? And it's like you can put like big hammer time right on there, but what does that even mean? What does that even mean? What does big hammer time even mean? Right? And it's like, what I've done with enchantments is that on gear, it's like they require a certain amount, just like real life, a certain amount of resources, like your regeneration. So if you wear a bunch of heavy plate mail, you don't get to run around a lot unless you're just a ripped ass unit. You can do it, but then that's a requirement. That's the cost, isn't it? So if you're like a person who needs to shoot a lot of magic or whatever, or spear, whatever it is, you want to have gear that is, hopefully you can breathe and you can do something if you want to do long term. And also that makes sense. The rogues and rangers and shit, that people all of a sudden they would have lighter gear, like in Diablo, whatever. People that run speed, whatever. You have lighter gear, you can wear everything, but you prefer to have the more stamina, because that's usually in life. That's more, we used to hunt down our enemies, we used to run the shit out of people in Africa or whatever, or plains, and then we'd beat them because they would die of exhaustion. We'd be like, oh, got the stamina for spear or whatever, and then buck ass naked, but that was or not. And then yeah, so it was like, if you have that, it's, oh, that makes Unga Bunga sense, right? The depths of humanity, oh yeah, that makes sense. Unga Bunga, that checks out, but if you fight ass and you're getting like the picture something, you get wrecked by like the Romans, the heavy armor and sword and discipline. All of a sudden you need armor, you get to work, you teamwork and shit. That so that was a big deal. That was the savage people. Oh man, the people in Gaul were goddamn. The Celts were a bunch of degenerates. A lot of them were degenerates. Like, they got fucking wrecked because they sucked ass. Like, they were an inferior culture. Like, that's just what happened. And the Romans wrecked people on there, and people wrecked the Romans. All these things happen where you have to, like, not want to lose. You don't just, oh, we're gonna nerf the Romans, oh, we're gonna nerf the Archimedes, we're gonna nerf the Greeks or the Egyptians or the Sumerians or the people before then, or we're gonna nerf the Rock. It's too unfair. No, this shit never happens. If you have a game where it's like, okay, there's a place for that. The wolf eats too many goddamn sheep. The sheep start dying out, and the wolf starves, and then the equilibrium happens. The wolf and the deer, whatever it is, right? The Yellowstone thing, where you can have these things in balance, right? But people, you know, you gotta plan your shit out. Hard spine forward. It's like you have the grand battle strategy. You can do these things in advance. A little bit tweaking, but don't just take people's shit away. Oh, blah blah blah. I'm a nerd with 5 billion layers of glasses and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's not good. People like, you know, whatever. The you can be correct, but then you can also be wrong by people trusting you or not, whatever, right? People's the faith, trust the community is massive. You lose that, you have nothing basically. It's an exploitive slot machine. You lose your moral, like people believe you or not. You're not looked as this leader. You're looked as this thing, like yeah. And then you just people all of a sudden you're just waiting to die. That's basically how that works. With all these different companies, you know, and just because they're just for whatever. The no one wants to save them, so it's like anyway. So with the rune magic, it could just be another way of incantations to have yet another form of. I have inscriptions basically. I put that on game where it's like, fuck, that sounds stupid. I have inscriptions on the old system of a way of doing it. You just write stuff in there. I guess this is like rune magic, but it didn't go into specifics. It was basically, you add stats to it, yeah, but what type of depth? Because the rune magic, you basically put words together, or you put letters together to make a word, and that means something. And I haven't gotten to that layer of depth, but I guess you could say, like, it's like a set, or you'd be like, if you rate this, but then you have to go into, like, because like an old language sounds cool. Like Latin sounds cool as a magic. So, it's whatever. It's not like, you're not just saying like fireball, I cast defense. It doesn't sound, yeah, it's not. But the old like Nordic stuff, like that language, I think there's something of an expectation with that, where it's like the Scandinavian, Viking, or dwarf, or Gaelic, Celtic type of stuff. I think you can, or Elvish too, right? Elvish too. Like you could have different flavors of things. The cultures are great for flavors of things. The old like Sumerian, for example, Sumerian. So you could have different languages. But it's nice when they have an older one that's like mysterious, like Sumerian. Different regional ones. It makes sense. It sounds like Tolkien did this in a sense too, like the language, whatever, right? So the old, where even just like words, you'd be like Ignis for fire, you know, that's a Latin one, right? Or Deus is God or something, right? Or like Prima or something is like big or full or great or something, and Victor is like win or something, right? So land, smash, crash, these type of things. Those are like Nordic or something, right? But there's also like older words, like for ash tree and whatnot. There's the ones up in Scandinavia. That's in in Lapland, up in northern Finland, around there, or Lakelandia, whatever. They just very old and like mysterious, right? Was this caveman unga bunga? Are these even like Homo sapien sapien, or are these actually Neanderthal words? Like, it's like it's like how old they are. So that I think should be good. It's really good to deep dive into that. So if you have some inscriptions of like the really old shit, you know, it's kind of interesting though, because I have this creation thing in my world, at least, where it's like the stone people are like still around, but they're the oldest, so their own faction. So you can't be like, oh, it's mysterious. Well, you know, they're based on Sumerian, which is like kind of fair, but you could maybe have some cultural stuff where like the language are not just extinct and everyone speaks the same. You have like a little thing where it's like its own like maybe a home language, I guess you could say. People speak English, but it's that little thing, the Doors, they speak Dwarvish. What's Dwarvish? Well, maybe it's like Old Gaelic or something, right? Or whatever people. It's actually Germanic how they spelled that name. I think it's basically it was like they have a Scottish accent, but they speak like Germanic names or something, basically Old Norse, like Anglo-Saxon type of thing. And it's like Old Pro-Germanic, and it's like up there, and it's like So it's like right. But also the Finnish, like, well, what are the languages they're speaking? Where they come from? Does that come from like the Sami people up north there too? Before farming, are those the ice giant type of people? They're pretty big back in the day. The Cro-Magnon or whatever. Are those the ice giants? So this, so it's like it makes you think. And were these actual imprints of older times kind of clunked down to tales that sound cool, maybe not embellished or that. Maybe Cro-Magnon was literally Iceman, you know. Bigger back in the day, an Ice Age time, it was like, these things, and there's the gods are made from this and that, and they all went away, and this and that, and, it's like, to the new ones, and it's like, rejected from us, and it's like, and elves and stuff could have been just, like, weird-ass hunter-gatherer people in the woods, like, the elves, the fairies, whatever, right? That was kind of like, the green man thing, of the forest, the Gaelic, the old depths of the friggin' legends of things, right? So the first men or the children of the forest, Game of Thrones, all these things that kind of, there's little imprints, little mystery things. These people, they were there, but then maybe they didn't work out. Maybe those are like Neanderthal, or maybe those are little pygmy people or something. There's people in Africa, DNA, or things, we don't know, fossils, but they're in the DNA, and all these different things. And it's like, little mystery things. It's neat to have, I have like a Sasquatch person, for example, like delved into like the depths of like the legends of the First Nations of like the Northwest. Basically, like if Sasquatch dude was around, like what would he actually? It's like actually dignity, and pride, and space to think. Just give things actually like depth to them, world build. And Sash Eve asked the name. Anyway, so it's like not just like, there's some stupid dwarf people, and they don't. What would they actually operate as a whole ass culture in themselves? People don't want to suck ass. That's basically a uniting thing of a whole different culture. They don't want to suck. Everyone wants to be pro or good or whatever. Everyone's like that. They have different flavors. Like a feast or this and that. It's all different things. So it's if you're by the ocean, you eat fish. It's pretty good. If you're up in the mountains, it's cold, or you got lots of maybe game or something up there, right? And you got some bucks or something, or you got you go and butcher these things. Hide the people in the Caucasus Mountains. They're like warrior people, and they sort things out in the valley. They're not warrior, the farmer people. So all these different things, that all work together to make things why they are the way they are. The Yamna culture kind of came from that. It's like, taking things over it. Why those things that they came from, And it's chickens, the egg, or it's like they made a bunch of eggs because it's like, well, there's lots of famines and stuff, so you got lots of eggs when it's good. It's always good times. Always got lots of eggs. So chickens have some eggs, but there's like ducks before then. The ducks lay eggs, and they eat chicken, and they float. It's always during chicken time, and after World War II, all these different things, that come about based off of things. Everything not wants to suck, so it's like this balance. So it's like, I think there's also that Rubik's Cube with those layers, like of a hamburger, layers of things, like a sandwich. How many depths of that? I guess you get infinite, I guess, but then it's like, well, the power draw on this ring is like, damn. I guess it also makes sense too. I think about it, the brass ring of the blue fairy book, kind of the inspiration of the first one of Lord of the Rings. You go, say, the Persian legend thing, or 1886 or something. The English time, but the older legend. But yeah, it was like the ring is like this cursed thing. It's lots of power. It's really bad, but the power is even not good, but it's actually really bad. But it draws from the soul. It basically has this tremendous power, curse thing to it. But if I had this thing where basically you could, the higher level you are, the more you could pay for to use your items, because it's like having like good stamina in real life. You get to pack more shit around, and you don't have to have crippling back problems and stuff like that. It sucks like real life. But you can game, you're fresh. I guess like reincarnating, I guess, kind of solid or whatever in real life. But whatever. That's not here nor there. But so go again. I guess amnesia would be the only thing that really getting too meta into this. So it's the like the hell do you call it? So I think what I'm trying to delve into is that I already have a system that's kind of like close to, with rune magic, basically it's inscription, but it's like there's this theme of having to. I guess there's not many words. There's just like literally just one. I guess there's I, for example. O maybe. In English that are like it'd be E. I don't know. The singular vowels. U. I don't know. That could be an individual word, but you usually have to put two together. So you just come with the rune. It's basically like spelling we're doing. So like yeah, and three is common. There's bigger ones too, but it's like supercalifragistic expialidocious, whatever. It's like or steamship or Danube steamship captain or something. Like there's very long words that actually describe them. It's like, does it even matter? Does it even matter? Or you could be like big victory time, but little. It's like there's little things I have to think about, like what the actual power of language is. I'm trying to figure out, like how do you put that into, because you can have different flavors of languages. Which okay, this one sounds cool, but it's like, well, how do we have limited systems without having too much going on? So you can manually put these words in. I guess you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to manually figure out what these things mean. But Diablo was like they individually like had their own value. The runes. I guess it kind of makes sense, but like what the power of like the would be, right? What would the power of like duh be, right? Oh, what's that game? Someone said like that, the dick rune. It was so stupid. Very powerful. Stupid words like that, right? And they have to go through the whole lexicon of all the encyclopedia, of all the reading, all the words, and it's like, oh my god. I can't yellow. Like, really, I have these ones. And it's like, and the developer did it. Well, it made sense to itself. It's like, well, I guess like, how do you make a version of that that's like, because that's the thing with the alphabet. You can spell almost anything. You have to agree upon a word. The community has to agree. Oh, this means that, and it's like, okay. And there's certain things that people all learn together, I guess. But it's like, I can make words like assassin. I can make words like Unga Bunga Wunga. If that means like super awesome burger, Unga Bunga Wunga, said enough. Unga Bunga Wunga eventually turns into into a word everyone agrees upon. Right? How do you have that in a game? It's like where Unga Bunga Wunga is like, that's not a rune word. Well, if people use it enough, it means this. All of a sudden, Unga Bunga Wunga is a way of communication, and all of a sudden, expectation for Unga Bunga Wunga means really big burger. So maybe it makes burgers or something, right? More leveled up. If that's a way of evolutionary meaning. That's like, how do you, if you have multiple servers, and it's like, well, how the hell do you, we have one server in life, so it's like, how do you, it's all these questions, right? If you use language and words, like, Runic is just a different version of ABCs. But it's like a sister language. Runic is a sister language to like Latin, things that we came from. English is like a mixture of uses like the Latin alphabet with the old like language stuff of like the Saxon, Anglo-Saxons, French, like highly faculty things, basically a fusion of things. But it was like old runic was using like Futhark runes with not Latin words. You know what I'm saying? So it's like almost like a different thing, as like a combination. Yeah, it's similar but different, like English and Dutch. So we'll hear them if you don't know, whatever. So it's like that's a hell of a thing to be like. How do we like? So you'd be like, okay, we're gonna have these ones equal this, and you keep adding list, adding list, adding list, adding list with it. And you're like, how do you like dictate what actually is good? You'd be like Ruby, okay, red is like fire, that makes sense, or furor or whatever. You go with the color coordination of things, right? That makes sense. How much complexity is too much, and how much simplicity? Add rune, add rune, add rune, add one, add another one, right? But if you have the alphabet, I think there's only like 60 or 80 different like letters and this and that. If you have one of those, it's like, well, how do you what power is letter A? What's the power of B? Like B's like how do you put a value on that? It sounds cool. Like, say you have, I guess you'd have to kind of pick them, or you have things that already exist maybe, and you just have a rune word for it. So you'd be like, okay, furor. You spell that shit out in. They do this in guys in like, I guess it'd be like Elder Futhark or some shit. It's kind of, or maybe even Proto-Italian, whatever the rune words you want. And then, or whatever you could do big Elvish. Elvish could be a language. Like the elves speak, I think happy Chinese, wouldn't it? Fuck. Kind of. There's different elves or Gaelic elves, for example. There's like dragons who speak friggin' people. The longs, the Daralongs, or kind of like those. I guess the culture would have to match. I guess or something similar to that. So you'd have people in Africa, and they'd speak. I guess it's not like, I don't know what the language is called. It's not, but like basically, it's like it makes sense with what's going on. Not everyone in Africa is like that. I'm not trying to be racist, but there's certain things in Africa that are like really unique. Like Domingo is like a cool name. You don't hear much, and there's some really cool names in Africa, like Mansa Musa. Certain things like that are very like, oh yeah, like here. That's from Africa. It's not from Asia. It's not from anywhere else. That's from, like Ming or something, right? It's like, I'm trying to be racist. I'm just trying to I'm so tired now. I'm trying to get to the actual root of the thing. Try to suck at that, whatever. And it's like, picture like near Timbuktu, it's like above the desert and the friggin' like the green meat, and it's like there's some really hardy ass people up there who just like dignified people, or just like make shit happen, and like they're just community builders. They're really stoic, and go across the desert and don't die and trade and stuff. Right. So it's like just will things to grow in the desert to exist. It's just crazy happening and stuff. Like the green, it's just big green wall they're doing now. Stuff in the old days with the old guys making these half boons, these things, just like, that's how we grow in the desert, Timbuktu, and it's just like really, some stuff there. You delve into the depths of it, and it's like, like Atlanteans could be like basically like the Berbers, effectively. There's all these different things, and people in the Spain, there was that weird language, the group of people, it could be the Atlanteans. There's just interesting depths of things where it's like you could. The cultures, it just sounds cool. The mystery things. It's that's why Tolkien like languages and like the Romans smacking everything down. But it was just I could made an internet, I guess, back then. But thank God for that. So our people or this or whatever. I guess people from whatever. So it all comes back. Anyway, yeah, so I guess the conservative value of a simplicity of it would be like, with rune words, you could take whatever language you have, it sounds cooler. I guess I have to really, I have to really figure out what it is. Because, like, Latin is kind of, it's like, okay, it sounds cool to cast spells. Like, as an arcane. Like, a universal. It just sounds good. Sumerian is cool as well. But symbol Latin just, it just hits different. You say, like, Ignis, Mal, Victa. It just sounds like, well, it just sounds good. Just, I don't know. It's also like the root language. There's always different things. It's always familiar. It's also novel at the same time. Nordic is like Skulla Crash, Raidland, or say, I don't know. You'd be like something. You'd be like Woe Down or something. It'd just be like, go right into it though. It could, yeah, but like you'd have to. How do you even know? Shit, right? I guess like Army Arcane could be Latin or something. Latin is deep as it's a thing. It's a dead language kind of. It's like the culture of that, but also there's like not ching chong like there is that. Like, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to invoke the language before the Han Chinese simplified Chinese thing. It sounded like expectation. It sounds racist as hell, whatever. But there's like before or Japan came out of, or China came out of. There's a different like where there's Mesoamerican invented its own writing, and then the Arabian people invented their own writing around there, and the Peninsula thing, what the hell is that? The Arabian Peninsula, so I discovered in Egypt around there, the old being an ABC before Phoenician stuff, the proto like alphabet from hieroglyphs, whatever. And there's like Chinese had their own stuff. So there's these old mother languages or these things. It's like, I guess you could speak them and it sounds cool. Maybe the older the language, the more depth it has, I guess. Like the rule of cool, I don't know. I guess the very like top languages would kind of suck to speak. You'd be like, I cast fireball. Wow. Oh my god. Oh, dork, right? We'd be like Ignis, Pyrum, Soul, Kablamo. You'd be like, crap. You know, it'd sound like good. Not many people speak like, we call it Elder, Proto-Nordic, Proto-Germanic. I don't know, different like roots. I guess if we go back to like the damn near the coming of the Ice Age, you know, it'd be kind of cool. You know, kind of neat. Try to get some of that. It also kind of preserves some languages too. I guess if we preserve some language, we can have bonus points. But also too, I think the one of the things is you don't have a conversation spells. I guess you could have chanting a mantra thing, but I think it have to be simple, where it's like a command. I guess, like boom big, you know, it'd be like magic big, protect great, taste massive, right? You have to be like simple, like command words or something, right? I think that's where the 3 thing is good or 4 or whatever, right? Where it's you like you get out in the weeds a bit. We get to 8. You'd be like burger big, command, taste buds winning everywhere. It kind of like gets a bit, you know. Maybe that's a cast time. I guess it'd be affected by that. I guess literally how fast you have to say those non-verbal components, and it's like, oh my god, man. You know, people, and it's like, people like, Ignis, Crash, Raid, Victa, Mal, Skulla, Vacuum, Higgledy-piggledy, and it's like, what the hell are you even talking about? And it's like, I guess if you keep saying things over and over again, you kind of sound like that, I guess, right? But I guess like power words. I guess you'd be like, maybe that's a good. I think I'm behind something. Or power words. That's a good one. But if you speak old ass, I guess you have to say some shit. Fuck. How do you like command shit? Do you have like Siri talk this, and it's like, no, I can't be like that. Oh, maybe it is that simple. I don't know. I guess like your will, I guess, an extension of how the fuck do you quantify that shit? Oh my god. I press a button, equals win. Okay. How do you be genuine about this? This is so exhausting. Okay. So we figured. Okay, one is kind of like you like stop, but that doesn't make any sense. You like, oh, like halto or something. It wouldn't even make any sense. You'd be like, you have to say something. You'd be like, halt. Creature. Big. Or something. You'd be like, I guess you'd be like halt. I guess you'd be like halt. Creature stop, right? Or be like some type of thing you could, because he gives the two expectation of the two things, right? The one in itself, like stop. Okay, that's just whatever. The two together, it's like you're just rocking the greater than some of its parts, I guess. It's kind of hard to be greater than some of its parts. You just have one part. Be honest, something, man. Power words. It's like simply boom, like big stop time, right? Little stop time. Really big stop time. I guess like caveman unga bunga speak. I guess simplify it. The Chinese are like have like the dialects, the Cantonese. No, they speak different language almost, but you see the same writing pattern. But we want empires. Oh my god, China, just figure that shit out. Shanghai, you gotta learn from them. They invent sunglasses. Shit goes crazy. They just chill out for a second. Go back and put it all back together. Oh my god. Alright, his Chinese history. Taiping Rebellion. Brother Jesus comes in. Everything's insane. Oh my god. Oh my god. So, Chinese history. Oh yeah, we're small. Crazy. Oh my god. Everything's crazy. So, it's like, it's like a person gambles all their gear. It's like, yeah, that's good enough. That's not how you do things. Yeah. Somehow it works. Okay, it's goofy. Yeah, so it's never boring in China. Oh my god. The Quinn or whatever. So yeah, it's like power word. I guess you'd have your flavors. I guess the elves would have theirs, I guess. Which would be like the elves of, they're like this. There's the people of the forest, you're like longer lived, healthier. If you're some like person eating like stupid ass grains back in like 2000 BC or something, and they're like dying all the time. There's some guy in the forest, just like healthy, big, taller, smart, stronger than you. Like that's an elf, right? And it's like and they go away because you don't compete them. They don't start dying as much, right? And I guess so. It's like there's like this expectation of like a better culture than you that comes before you, and there's less of them. So it's like, would it be Celtic? I know, like Tolkien made up his own language for Elvish, but like, I got Sumerian for the stone people, like Umbatu, Supa, Puka, whatever, Surapak, Uruk, where my copper at, yo. So tablets are so it's like oh, I got that Epic Gilbert song stuck in my head now. The Ilia wai nei na na buia nei ni wa wa my wherever the hell it goes. And there you go, rocking on the harp thing. And they even talking about like old times back in the day. It was like ancient times. What is that song? Anyway, the old nights, very very old nights back in the day. The nights, very old, the time, very distant nights. It's like super, like 2,000, like 7,000 years old or something. It was like, oh my god. It's like alien times. I was talking about some shit, and it's like, oh my god. And then it's like, yeah, so it's like Tiamat, all that jazz, and Kingu and shit, and all that stuff. And India, the Vedic text, and crazy UFO. I don't know. It's just like, oh my god, how far back does this go? And Garage for space time, right? So it's like I think I'm having trouble quantifying words. It's just such a vast system, and you'd be like, okay, I guess it'd be like, I have furor. That's one, and you have to try. I guess then how many rune words or how many runes would you need for furor? And then would you cheat with having less, or would that even matter? Because it's like with like French and English, it's like, yeah, I guess you have to speak, and it's like whatever, writing it down, but in the air. So when you think about it, then it's like the word still means the same thing, kind of, even the order it's in. It's like, so you see the words without the grammar. Grammatic is ubel. You could be like, fire, big, explode, right? That kind of gets the words across. Like power words, I guess, right? I guess if you have to draw a certain point, I guess if you say words of casting energy, I guess you'd be like, oh my god, it's absolutely like, maybe like pulling the trigger with the thing card. I guess interesting. Interesting. Power words kind of make sense though. People kind of familiar. But power words on the sword, fuck. I guess you can describe that shit again. How do you turn that shit on and off? Fuck. Electricity does that shit. Oh my god. Fuck. I guess I guess you couldn't put all the rune words on that shit. You'd be like, fuck. I guess you have to be like, I guess you could decoration. What's the difference of a decoration and a rune word? I guess you'd be like, okay, it's good. I guess if you put down like dick is big on anything, but oh man, that's certain energy to it. I guess it doesn't matter what it is. You'd be like, okay. Or like dick is small. Like, oh, this is a cursed one. That's so like that. Okay, the D.I.K. Right? But oh my god. So you have to be like, I guess when we speak, I think, therefore I am. I guess. I guess you will it. I guess the person with the interesting. Voldemort. I guess that, yeah. The system of matter, how you could be like, you can use the sword as like a conduit, like energy of like, you put. I guess when you put energy in, I guess maybe you put energy into something, it like has a reaction maybe. Yeah, that's a fucking interesting one. Okay. If you have like a rune that's like, maybe it doesn't have instant, you have to put energy into it and then it does something. Maybe that makes sense. It's like a nozzle, maybe, like a meaning nozzle. Yeah, because you have a surface, and it says like furor, right? And you pump energy into that, and be like a little furor type, like fire comes out of there, right? And it's like, how do you direct that? You're like, okay, fire. That's okay. Then it's like fire, protect, and it's like fire, but now it's doing defense. And like, okay, well, how do you channel that? You put modifiers on that shit. And you're, okay, fire, defense. It's like, okay, it's going everywhere. It's me. It's like, it's just me. Okay. You'd be like, fire, defense, I don't know, or fire, defense, big. And it's like, well, then we need like, only activate something certain big, I guess. Fire, defense. Oh, I guess it works on like small. I guess maybe it doesn't work out. I guess you'd be like modifiers. I guess they have to react with like plants and water. I guess some resources. I guess you'd be like, you can have seeds. You have no water. I guess that makes sense. I did this. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so rune words, it doesn't matter how words you have. They're just funnels of meaning. And words are just writing shit in the air. I like that type of interesting stuff. Interesting. So you could put like a big sword has a dream, and you'd be like, okay, putting energy through the sword. And it's like, you got fire or furor on there, right? So furor is a word. I guess it'd have to be like in order, I guess. It would make sense what order it is, because like, the energy would flow. And, so you'd be like, because there's a ring of like inscriptions on the thing too. It's like, okay, so you'd be like, I guess you could channel it, and it would be like, like Lego bricks, I guess, where depending on what you would put through it, it would have a reaction, I guess. Because if you just have like nothing going through it, because sometimes you have placebo too. If you believe something, it happens in real life where it's like, okay, this is the cure medicine. You just believe it exists. It's like the law, I guess. And we're kind of stupid as hell. It's not how it works. Oh my god! And then but it's very dilute. I guess you have to like maybe like a nozzle too. They could focus it maybe. I'm like, interesting. I guess it'd be like a convenience, I guess, because I guess you could, like, with the Ultima, you could like cast the spells just like whatever. If you I think preset like a wand effectively, I guess that's how you'd do a wand. I guess you have to do like, because how the hell? Because if writing in the air is speaking, and words mean something by who originally cast them, or they have a language that's understood by the people. I guess people who speak the power of the gods in my universe would have like speak this language. I guess it makes sense. So it'd be like if something's like saying like if they speak Latin and something's like saying like Ignis Victa Supra, you'd be like above, it'd be like fire, wind, above, or ultra or something, and they'd be like, that means something, right? And you'd be like, okay, it's that means something in this world. It has like a link to, yeah, or maybe it's like maybe they're not the creators of, but they're kind of responsible. I guess a sentient world. I guess like the energy world. Oh my god, this is kind of fucked. Okay, so you have to like, I guess the meaning of there, I think therefore I am, I guess with the lead, because I guess if it'd be a sentient creation of something, a linking of, I guess, yeah, okay, so you put fire wand, you could different languages, but if it's not like understood by the things that be, like if you I guess you have like a prayer, I guess it would kind of make sense if you're trying to communicate with this thing. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So Latin, I guess, would be like understood by the all of them, I guess. I guess they would all know Latin or something, or maybe whatever the origining, whatever the 100%. I have to figure out the languages the God's speaking. Oh my god, now I'm really up a creek. Fuck. Well, Latin just sounds cool as hell. That's like you're just like, okay, we're gonna do some crazy shit. And you'd be like, okay, we're gonna do it'll be ultra, arcana, kaboom. I don't know. Fuck, that's a bit fucked up. But you'd be like, that sounds like like the proper ass magic, right? Ultimately, whatever. It's in there. But you could be like either Vala Crum, or something, right? And then it'd be like something awesome, it'd sound cool. I guess like how many I guess fuck, would it be 8? Is 8 too much? 16? Is 16 way too much? I guess you have like a oh my god. Feeling 16 is probably the limit. That'd be like a ritual spell. Like, I guess like mantras like that, I guess. You go That'd be like up, 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 up. Left, right, Z, X, Y, Z. I guess in a way then, like, combinations on controller are like kind of like that in a way. You can't without you're like writing meaning through a device that inputs that through electricity, speaking through the wires of physics. I get in a sense that would be okay. I guess that would make sense. Yeah, in a way the little controller would be okay. So then we have a fucking wand that has the shit scribed onto it, and you blast out with energy, and it's like fire, ray, big. That would be like, okay, we're gonna get the fire together, we're putting it into a ray, and it comes off when it's big. So if you have small, just because it doesn't quite do the thing. But when it's medium, not quite. But when you have the big energy, then it starts cooking. Maybe that'd be interesting. Like requirements plus, okay. Like modifiers, like can make your own spell, but different. Fuck, I gotta really think of this shit. I have 9 different. Okay, let's actually see here. It's arcane. Oh my god. The modifiers. Oh my god. Okay. I just don't. I guess they'd make thematic. I guess you'd have like Norse. You'd have like the old Norse. You have the old. You'd have the Latin. You'd have like the Chinese. I guess the dragon would speak Chinese. I guess that could make sense. Or other things too. I guess it'd be multilingual because they're not stupid. I guess, but I guess that could be cool because that'd make sense because it'd be like maybe like you could. Oh, that's so stupid though. If you had to like see like common tongue. Why is it stupid though? Because they're not thinking it's dumb. It's their common tongue. Oh my god. Maybe it just seems stupid because like it just. It would be very accessible though. But like fuck. Maybe it's not evoking like the old cool shit. But like, why is it cool though? Why is it cool? It's the old dead languages. The mystery. It's like a closer to the past, to the source. It's more potent, I guess. I guess you could say Fireball big time now, but then it'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so like maybe like the real potent shit would be like spoken in like super fucking like yeah, I guess it'd be like the creator's tongue. I guess it'd be like just fucking like the Elder Scroll bullshit. It'd be like, oh my, what am I even looking at here? Like, oh god, oh boom boom. It'd be like, yeah, and it'd be like fucking super like super duper version, like talking right the fucking Kronos or whatever. I guess it'd be, oh my god. Fuck, would they even speak like Proto-Sumerian? Oh my fuck. Oh my god. Oh, how the fuck am I gonna write this shit? Oh my god. Holy fuck. Would the Sumerian people then want to speak common to have fucking lesser spells? Oh my god. Holy shit. This is like a fucking massive depth I just fucking went into. Like the earth is not deep enough for the fucking, like, oh my god. It's like you're inside the earth, you walked out, and it's the fucking universe. You're like, oh my god. Oh my god. And that's just a thought, an idea, of a thing. Oh my god. Okay, so fuck. So meaning is the thing, and after the languages are cool, so I guess it'd be like fucking tiers of languages or some shit, and I'd figure out what that all goes. Oh my god. What the fucking language is there? I guess the older it is. Oh man. Okay. Then what's the equivalent of old? I guess years. I guess yeah. Human would that correlate to fucking? Oh my god. But then the Sumerian people would be like, how if they're just insane? Oh my god. It sounds cool, but how do they like? How do we know it sounds cool? Yeah. It's like into the past. Then how do they cast small languages? If it's old, I guess I can untie that with that. But how do it? So if we have Samaria, welcomed by people alive, and they shout, their language is more powerful. How the fuck does that work? How would they regulate their fucking? Oh my god. They wouldn't just do that shit. Oh yes, I'm too powerful. I want to speak Arabic now. It's like, no, it doesn't make fucking sense. That oomba to be bloomba, kumba, eb tuba, kaboom boom, right? They'd be like, why wouldn't they? You know, they're stone people or whatever, right? Maybe their power words would be like carefully chosen, I guess. Maybe that's would be the fucking thing. I don't even know. I guess it's because you say it, you can speak language doesn't mean you say anything good. I guess too, right? Like I want big tacos, but you'd be like in Sumerian. I'd be like, what do I mean? What do I get? I guess it'd be like the gods wouldn't know every language. I guess they kind of would, but they wouldn't. Maybe they would be like more familiar. I guess maybe their native tongue. I guess maybe have more impact. It's more connection when they have their native tongue. Is their first their accents. I guess they're in, right. That'd be more like more spicy. I guess. So I guess Kronos would be very spicy. He accent his home thing would be like a version of Sumerian. I can't think of anything older than that shit we get access to. I guess, and like the people above him would be like speaking in like Latin, I guess, or something. Because there's like Kronos in the middle, and there's like two beside, and that'd be like maybe like I don't fucking know what that even be like, Egyptian or some fucking thing, and then like you'd have the people like in the elders. There's two, there's four, I guess. And then that would be like Latin, I guess. So you'd be like speaking like the dark one. You'd be like, Mal, big Mal, no, big Mal, Mal. What's death? Mal. Oh my god. It's not sticks. It's not like underworld, whatever. Some type of dark ass shit. Speak that. I guess yeah. I guess I have to be like the elder. Okay, so I have Latin to be on the outside. Then be like what Egyptian or some shit. Sumerian maybe. No, Sumerian maybe in the middle. Yeah, with the very depth of that. Akkadian or some shit like that on the okay. I see. Okay, okay. Now we're starting to get. Okay. That's starting to fucking. Okay. And then we get like to the gods, and they speak. Fuck. Okay. Because you can't just say, oh, they speak Norse because they're blue. It doesn't work like that. Because then you could answer everybody. Yeah, my fuck. Okay. With the Chinese people, I guess they could speak Latin. I don't fucking know. It's all dead language. That's close stuff. I guess we got. I guess they could speak those things, but then how would they? Shit. Alright, shit is right. Oh, I guess that would make sense. You'd have like your above languages, like then why would everyone? I guess you wouldn't speak. I guess it makes sense. Because then you'd be like, not everyone's casting like the most depth of the friggin'. I guess you'd only learn that. Okay, that makes sense. Trade whatnot. Kind of a little bit of thing. Okay, so you have the cultures, and then you have it doesn't even matter what they cast you. I guess you'd be like, I guess. Fuck. Okay. Well. It would make sense if someone, if like, I guess I don't know. Fuck. Okay. Well. Runes. I guess runes are just an alphabet, kind of, and like the older the language, because you can use like Romanized letters to speak Sumerian. You don't need to speak in cruciform. You can, but you don't have to. I guess you could do that. I guess. So you could have rune words like Chad dude be like, fire big time good, but then you'd be like, you could use Romanized words, but you'd have to like, the more older the word, the more I guess native the language would be for the. I guess so you'd be like, Ignis would be like Latin for fire, and you'd be like, that'd be like an elder circle, so you'd be like Mal Ignis Victa or something, and you'd be like, that'd be like big fire time wind or something. Or Prima Ignis Victor, or I don't know, Shoota, I don't know what you call it. Shoot is not a word, but whatever. Catapulta, or Scorpio, I don't know what they would say. I think here. I think we're getting somewhere. So I guess like the native language of the gods, I guess the older they are, so you'd be like, you'd have Kronos to be like a Sumerian. I have to kind of put it somewhere. I know it's Chinese, and there's older Quinn, and there's this, and there's Mesoamerican, and I understand that, but like, I have to get some from somewhere. It's not quite documented very good. Anyway, so that can make some sense why the person who's like in the like a different culture, like say the Chinese way speaking Latin, it's like, guess everyone have to be speaking Latin, I guess at a certain time. I guess that kind of makes sense. Only for certain things, not for everything. And the people who speak like Sumerian, they could still speak Sumerian, but like just because it doesn't mean they're understanding good. And they certain words, you have to draw power to actually. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. The priests would make sense in real life because they speak like old Latin. You can invoke the old words to have a certain power. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, the culture that could make sense. Even Samaria had the thing where it's like Babylon who speaks Sumerian. That makes sense. Okay. The ruling class is speaks French, even though it's England. Okay. It's like woods and forest. Okay. Beef and cattle. Okay. I guess there would be. Okay, so I have gods and goddesses, and they're not. Okay, they speak Latin too. I guess they'd have to speak Latin. Everyone could speak Latin, I guess. I guess you could have like they could all speak their regional dialects, I guess, and if they understood them, I guess you could pick and choose what languages are spoken by different cultures. And because they also have like celestials too, different things. I guess you could have like that makes sense. Interesting. Some cultural things. But you don't want to be like racist or not have fun. Like the Chinese dragon thing couldn't like talk to like the. I guess you speak Latin. I guess you speak spells. But if he speaks like, why would you speak Nordic? Maybe they all speak. You can, because you could have runes in Latin. I guess you could have multiple languages. I guess. Ah, okay. So if we have, I have to pick what languages they're speaking. Oh my god. Okay, Sumerians. I guess they'd all. So all the gods that know Sumerian. They all know. But they have like Egyptian or some shit, and then they'd be like, or some type of Phoenician, Greek, and then Latin. I don't know how you even put this together. Okay, do language families, I guess. And you get to like, Runic is a sister of. But you don't speak Runic in like. I guess it doesn't really matter because it's a geography thing, but it's also like not at the same time. Like Dwarvish, right? That's spoken as like a regional thing, but it's also like not though, because there's an idea that the dwarfs have their. I guess the dwarfs thing. I guess kind of not though, really. I'm a celestials like the Cephalno and all that shit. They'd all. I guess like yeah, they would. I guess the lingua franca would be like Latin, I guess, for the gods. But well, it was really super old fucking way. Huh. I guess that would be like. I could add languages, I guess. They should know. They were like super old. But they all like at least know this. Maybe that's how I have to solve that, I guess. Is that they at least know like certain like language you can count on. What else they could add, like maybe a bonus which is like some guy can speak like Proto-Finnic or Sami, whatever. They're Paleo-Finnic at like to invoke some shit, and you'd be like, what the hell did he just say? Or she, and you'd be like, the god's like, oh yeah, I don't know what that is, because I was here before the hills were young. And it was like, maybe a dialect of it, I guess. I think that'd be kind of mysterious, I suppose. You have to do some world building, because the gods would know what the people would, okay, interesting. Then you could also have some oral building, but you wouldn't have to speak that language. Just because just trying to, we could also, but everyone would have like the language of the god. It would be, like, I guess, it would be kind of like Sumerian, Latin type of thing. Talic as a at least you could, I guess that would work as a phone call, but then you could also have alternative mysterious routes. So you have to kind of guess what the other. Oh, so you could have some rune words, which would be like, what the fuck is this? And you'd be like, I don't know. But I guess you're trying to like see what the actual when the world was old. I guess that could be like a way of doing that if they know what if that is of the old language. So you could have like okay, so then that you could really use that as a flexible thing to like have old languages written. I guess like artifacts would be like that. I guess you could invoke them, but you wouldn't have to. Okay, interesting. So Kronos would know all the super old languages. I guess all languages, I guess, but I guess the native dialect would be like more potent, I guess, or more like able to have a better conversation in. I guess I don't know how like your native. Okay. Preference. Interesting. Okay, so we got power words, language doesn't matter, but preferences that go. Okay, the older the language, okay, that makes sense. We're getting somewhere close to it, and you'd have like meaning, like channeling of meaning, or basically like funnels or whatever, or like uh, of like meaning to things on. Okay, so in that. I think it's physics. If like physics was like energy, magic type of energy, like electricity, how that would have to flow through things. So then you'd be like, okay, meaning of things, and the funk of it, and they have to add power and reaction to come out of it. So I guess you could have a super old word that you could write down as like a new. I guess you have to know what it is. I guess it's about command. I guess it would make sense. You can just random ass scribbles down and be like, okay, interesting. Let's figure that out. Just a little bit too simple. Okay, but so I think 16, or at least slots would be definitely diminishing though, because you'd be like, you go up. Like, what does that even mean? Maybe like channel, I guess. Mantra would make sense, I guess. Like song kind of makes sense. But it's basically trying to communicate to their side, I guess. Kind of interesting little thing. This is really making me think. It's like 4 in the morning. Okay, well, I better wrap this up. So, the power words, ancient language, they could have meaning, but we could also at least have this. Learn Latin, I guess. And you can speak your regular tongue, I guess, to the more surface level things. If you want to speak the more crazy ones, you can speak into, like, so you want to call upon. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I guess like the gods can be all multilingual, but then there's certain things like more preference, more stunk on the thing. I guess we could do arcane or something. Just okay, interesting. Yeah, okay. Really think of that. I guess how many languages are tied to what this, like cultures and this and that. Very interesting. Learn all the world's history. I think I've got a handle on it now. It's like words of the power, but you have to channel the power or draw it upon. It's like in like runes, or speaking is like runes in the air, temporary, but thing that you channel through power. It's like electricity, like a flashlight or a remote or something, or even if it's like a controller, it's got certain even button combination input things. 16 seems to be like a nice human brain memory thing. Like you could do combinations on a controller. I think you could do like, if you're good at it, you could remember after 16. I think it's hard to find words that are longer than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think there's 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, I guess like yeah, kind of. It's like characters, I guess. It's just 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, well. I guess like a word. I guess like Danube, steamboat, or Danube, river, steamboat, cap. Now that's like, was that like 6? Danube, steamboat, captain, assistant, officer. It's how many agglutinative meanings do you really? I guess 8 would be. I guess you have 16. I guess agglutinative. I guess agglutinative things are like kind of like the supercalifragilistic expialidocious. I guess whatever. Like, yeah. I think 16 slots would be okay, but maybe I wouldn't even use that. Maybe we'll see. Glute native. Yeah, glute native words, I guess. Remember that, I guess. 18 is the thing, but I think, yeah, 16 would be a slot, yeah. How much you could say in one go, I guess. Alright, I better go to bed. I'm tired. Person gonna chirp at me 5 in the morning or something, 4:50 or something. I got a handle on it. So I have to figure out, so I have the tiers, the magic, the potency, how much power it is, how much cost it's going to be. It also has to link up culturally with a little bit of like the old Sumerians, like a default thing of the old speaking into, but there's other ones you could evoke into, so if they're speaking like, the dwarves are speaking like Old Norse or Proto-Germanic. That could ring with certain gods, because they'd be around from back then. And they'd be like probably even tinkering in them, I guess, probably with their resorts. So if it's like, say, with the Gloam, with like Gloam Frost, it says some old shit like Frost Giant Strike or something. That could make sense with that, because the guys were there back in the day saying that shit. And you see like Frost Giant, maybe the guys are like, okay, I don't know what that is, but maybe not, you know. So that maybe makes sense to do that. But you could also speak it in Sumerian, you can speak it in Latin, like the older languages, and that would still be like pretty good. Maybe the older physics, yeah, but it wouldn't get to a point where it really matter, I guess. Yeah, I guess old languages always work, but I guess newer ones maybe sometimes. I guess you could see like Ice Ball Smash, and that would be like, you know, maybe they'd have a limit to. I guess that's the thing too. Maybe the old language you have to. Maybe only the higher level shit would be like the reserved for the old words. You have to speak like Proto or Paleolithic Sumerian or something to just the most powerful version of all the spells. I think you say whatever you want, like Higgle, Piggle, Expelidocious or something. Not really, but the whatever versions, like level 1 or something. Like damn your gibberish. Really okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, kind of. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Maybe like, if you know what you're talking about, then you can say, I guess, okay, well, that's the world, okay, just not different, okay. Anyway, I guess I should go to bed. Oh, that's a different one. This is Ultima I was looking at. Going through. Take a while. Okay, so we're at 2 hours. Okay. Anyway, take care, good night, and bye for now.